3 years ago, in a dark bedroom, we see a kid jump up from his bed, letting out a scream. He was panicking and hyperventilating, as we see that it is a younger Sean waking up from a nightmare. Sean was sweating and cried, completely terrified, as the door burst open, with John coming inside the bedroom, gun in hand. "Sean, is everything okay?" he asked, concerned. John comforts him as he looks directly at him. Sean cries, "It was another nightmare with my mom. The night she died," he finished, as John embraced him in a hug. Later in the night, we see John talking with Hannah in the kitchen. Apparently, he's been having these nightmares for a while now. This was the worst one. The soldiers kill his mother Vivian and then him, John said, upset and worried. "Poor Sean. It's not even been a full year yet," she stated. "I wonder why he didn't tell me any of this," John asked. "I don't know. Maybe he was scared to tell you," she said. "What?" John said. "Why would he be scared to tell me?" he asked. "Look, John, you're a great man. But Sean is a 12-year-old boy that lost his mother and father months from each other. There's only one person here who knows that specific kind of pain," he stated. John thought about it for several seconds. "Benjamin," he said. "Right. Didn't you say Benjamin and him became friends and were before their mothers were killed?" she said. "Yeah. Benjamin was so full of life, and then he thinks back to the body of mortars, how Benjamin tortured him, making him uncomfortable. He changed. But it's not his fault. Benjamin's also a good kid. It's just this cruel world hurt them both, and now they don't know how to feel anymore," he stated. "Then talk with him. Ask him if he can spend more time with Sean. Besides that small Christmas we had months ago, they've barely spent time together. Benjamin is always running off out there or training in his house, not wanting to be bothered," she said. "Benjamin is a very secretive kid, very closed off. I don't want to push him if he's not ready. But I can't let the same thing happen to Sean. These boys deserve to be happy, to smile again," he said. "And they will. You just gotta believe they will again. It may not happen today or tomorrow, but one day it'll happen again," Hannah told him. Meanwhile, Sean was secretly listening to their conversation. The next day, in the neighborhood, we see Sean walking with Carla. "Promise you won't tell him?" Sean asked. "Sean, please," he asked. "Okay, I promise not to tell Benjamin, but he's not going to care," she told him. "How do you know?" he asked. "I'm supposed to be brave, and I still have nightmares. I want Benjamin to be proud of me," he said. "He is. Nightmares don't make someone a kid or a man. Even Benjamin gets them," she said. "He does?" Sean asked, surprised. "Oh yeah," she said. "Benjamin gets them all the time," she said. "How? He never shows it. I never see him scared," Sean stated. "Benjamin hides his fear well. He bottles it inside. He tries to show that he's strong, but he's hurting. Just like you. Just like everyone," she told him. "I want to be strong too. Like him," Sean said, determined. Carla lowered herself to him, getting on her knees. "There is no greater strength than being honest and there for the people you care about, helping them when they need you the most," she told him. "Like from walkers and bad people?" he asked. "Yes, but more than that. There is a friend, a shoulder to cry on, a person to unburden yourself to, someone they can trust, someone who could save them from even themselves," she said. Sean listened to her and looked as the gates opened. He looked, seeing Benjamin covered in blood walking past them. Benjamin turned to them, glancing quickly. Sean waved to him. Benjamin stopped and did a quick wave to the back. His small smile died as he left, going inside his house. Sean looked on, a little sad. In the present, We see Sean driving his vehicle as he tries to drive away. He looks on scared as he heard gunshots happening behind him. He stopped the car and looked in the rear view mirror. He tried to think. He looked at the map Benjamin gave him. He used his finger to trace the road. After looking at it, he puts it down and continues driving away from the news. Back in the burning stadium, we see Benjamin, Barry, trying to break free from the rubble. The walkers were snarling and coming towards him as Benjamin struggled to break free. Benjamin uses all of his strength to try and get out as Ben stands on top of him. So that's it. This is how you're gonna fucking go out. Having your face eaten off by these fucking rot bags when you shouldn't have been out here in the first place? He asked, mocking him. I can't get out. I'm done, he said. I'm tired, Benjamin said, defeated. Get the fuck up, you pathetic, demented excuse for a son, for a brother, for a husband! Benjamin's eyes widened. Go ahead and die right here, you piece of shit! You weren't good enough for Rachel. Leave her to Trevor and Caden. I'm sure they'll have fun with her after you get us both killed. Benjamin screamed like a madman as he pushed against the metal. He pulled his muscles as he continued screaming. There he is, Ben said proudly. Benjamin used a metal pole as a brace support and started to crawl out. As Benjamin crawls out, suddenly his arm grazes against the rubble as he pushes through as blood flows. Benjamin screams as he gets up from the rubble. Benjamin's left arm was bleeding through his armor. Benjamin looks as the zombies were right on him. Benjamin punches one with his other hand as he limps away. He looks, seeing a piece of metal rubble, and picks it up. He turns and stabs a walker with it, killing it as he backs up. The zombies were right on him. Benjamin smacks another one of the zombies. Were on fire and snarling at him. Benjamin backed away and retreated. Meanwhile, outside, walkers were everywhere. We see Trevor talking to Myers. He tapped him on the shoulder. Now? He asked. Trevor gave him a glance. We need to get inside! Caden shouted. They all headed for the door of the stadium. Trevor shouted, Right here, sir! Everyone, move up now! He shouted as he saw the doors. Caden looked at them. They were locked with metal shutters. Fuck! Where the fuck is Hunter? He said on the radio. Hunter, get your fucking ass to this fucking lobby and open these fucking doors right now or... He said, but Trevor interrupted him. He pulled out a black object from his bag. Don't worry, sir. I got this, he said, pulling explosives. Back in Helios, we see Kat and the other soldiers moving to the outer buildings as Kat goes to the roof with Adrian and takes a sniper position. How many minutes are left? She asked. Adrian checked his watch. 5, he told her. She was shaking as Adrian comforted her and reassures her. This will work, he told her. Once they let us in, we win, he told her. We see Ponders and Parker trying to make sounds. They were gagged and prevented from speaking as the others looked on. Inside Helios, we see Patriots heading to the elevator in dark hallways as Liza takes the radio. We see Liza step outside the building as she presses the button. Who am I speaking to exactly? She asked. Patrick Wright, from Huntington. Remember me? Your leader murdered my son, he told her. I was the old man he beat up and threatened all those months ago, he told her. I see. So, you want to get revenge on General Miles, I take it? She asked. Justice! He corrected her. For 6 fucking months, we have been subjugated by your militia of murderers, but no more. We are done, he told her. Did Rachel Hunter plan this? She asked. No, he told her. It was all me. All of us. She had no idea of any of this, he told her. Obadiah looked on at Manny. Something is not right, he told her. What do you mean? Manny asked. Why isn't Miles here? He asked. Why is Liza the one talking on the radio? He said. He's probably not even here, Manny said. If he's not here, Then we did this for nothing. That means Caden could have went on a run and could ambush us from behind with our backs to the walls, he told him. Mandy turned to Patrick. Suddenly, Patrick fired his gun, killing Ponders. "Oh my God!" he said. Kat and Adrian looked on. "Time is up! We're killing these men!" he shouted. Obadiah stopped him as he misfired. "What the hell are you doing?" he asked him. "I am protecting us," he told him. "By executing people?" Obadiah said. "This is wrong," he told him. On the roof, Adrian was shocked. "Dad, what the hell are you doing?" he asked. "This was not the plan." Suddenly, the gates opened up as Liza stepped outside. She had her hands raised. "Mr. Wright, stop!" she shouted. Patrick and them looked on. He was surprised. "Where is Miles?" he asked. In Helios, we see soldiers heading into the elevator and go into the basement. They start heading into the tunnel system as they run as fast as they can. There were over 100 of them as they were all armed. They branded helmets and assault rifles as they reached the end of the tunnels. They emerged from the tunnels through emergency hatches and restricted areas in the town. They all made it to the surface as we see them go through the area and take cover by the trees. They heard shouting as they slowly approached Patrick's militia near the front gates. Adrian looked and saw them from the roof. "Watch out!" he shouted, firing. Patrick turned around as everyone opened fire. Back in Lincoln, we see Benjamin running in the halls, exhausted and in pain. "Fuck," he said. He clenched his bleeding arm, holding it tight. He took heavy breaths as he was in massive pain. "We better run," Ben said, warning him. Benjamin listened and headed down the hallway as the dead were going up the stairs and bleachers. Benjamin bent down over on a Patriot's corpse, looting it for guns, ammunition, and other supplies. Far away, we see Sean driving as he struggled with the car. He looked at his map, and ahead, we see walkers. Sean stops and gets out of the truck. He looks back, wondering what happened to the others. Sean took his knife and kicked the first zombie down. He then aimed his knife and stabbed another one, killing him. Sean moved to the side, ducking from a zombie, as another one tripped him. "Shit!" he shouted. Sean saw it trying to bite his arm, but Sean headbutted it quickly as they both fell backwards. Sean then grabbed his head. "Ew, that was a bad idea," he said, as he saw it crawling back at him. Sean kicked it in the head as it dropped down face first. Sean then stood up, seeing more biters. He stomped on its head, brutally killing it. He then turned back and was shaking. He saw 7 more walkers coming towards him. He took deep breaths. "Get out of my way!" he shouted as he charged forward and started killing them one by one as he grabbed one's clothes before stabbing it in the head. He then jumps into the air and knife slams the zombie in the eye, killing the other one. But he lost his weapon. Sean then cursed as he saw the last one. "Over here!" he shouted. He led it to the Humvee. As he opened the door, he crawled inside the car and reached for his bag. The walker grabbed him, but Sean pulled the gun from his bag as the zombie came closer and snarled at him. Sean shoved the gun in his mouth and fired. It sprayed everywhere. Sean took a deep breath after he killed the last zombie. He took his gun and lowered it. They were all dead now. "I did it, Ben," he said. He then started checking his arms. "No bites." He then flicked off the last dead zombie with the middle finger as he smiled in triumph. Minutes later, Sean crawls back inside the Humvee as he starts it back up and drives off down the road. As he leaves, we see on the roadside the dead all lined up in a pile of freshly smeared blood on the large road sign spelling "Death to the Patriots." Inside the city, we see doors blown open as they exploded inwards. Debris flies everywhere. "Go!" We see Caden, Trevor, and the other remaining Patriots run through the hall. The dead were on them as they looked, seeing pure darkness. The dead were outside, were right on them, chasing after them. He then got his radio. "Hunter, any teams in here? This is the General," he asked. "General, this is Private Riggs. We're holding up in the barracks room. Corporal Hunter went off to finish the last of the CRM soldiers," she stated. "We lost contact with him before the explosion," she said. "Sir, we should take care of these biters," he said as he and around a dozen remaining Patriots were killing the dead with hand weapons. "We need to restore the power," Miles stated. "There are 14 of us left. We're split up. Trevor, you and Myers help me restore the power. The rest of you stay here and stop the dead from getting in. Barricade the hole if you can," he advised. "Understood, sir," Trevor said. "Now, let's move it," he ordered as they left the lobby. Back with Benjamin, he continued walking down the dark hall when he heard something on the radio. He picked it up from one of the dead bodies. "Attention all teams, this is General Miles." In another room, we see a small group of a dozen CRM soldiers listening in on their radios. "We need to send a message out to command," a soldier said. "We can't. The helicopter's outside and we're trapped in here," he stated. "We're fucked," they stated. "No, we can still take them out and make it to the helipad." The CRM conversed with one another. Benjamin listened on the radio. "I have Lieutenant Dallas with me. Any remaining teams respond." "General, we're on the second floor." Benjamin got mad. "No, you idiots, don't say where you are," he said angry. Ben then appeared to him. "Why the fuck do you even care? They're Patriots, remember?" he asked. Benjamin then looked, seeing the dead everywhere. He got on the radio. "Don't tell them. Let the dead kill Miles and Trevor, and then you can finally get out of here as the last one," he told him. Benjamin thought about it. "I don't know if I can do that." Ben interrupted him. "Of course you can. They deserve it. Remember Carla and the others? No mercy," he said. Benjamin hesitated. "I can't defeat them all on my own," he said. "You don't have to. Leave. Just leave them to them. Let them kill each other," he said. Benjamin put down the radio, not saying a thing. We see the zombies as they go down the dark hallways. Meanwhile, back in Helios, we see Dr. Evans and the boys going through the tunnel systems. It was dark, so they used their flashlights. The lights on the ceiling were decaying rapidly from the lack of maintenance. Jessica went over to Dr. Evans. "Steve, I'm curious. Why did you help me, my sons, and Benjamin?" she asked. "Were you the one who organized all of this?" she asked. "You had so much to lose if Miles ever found out," she asked. "No, it was Hill," he said. "I cannot thank you all enough," she said. "I was sorry to hear about Chris. He was a good man." "Thank you," she said. Jordan interrupted. "I wish we could have said goodbye to Dad before we left," he said. "Me too, honey. But we didn't have enough time," she said. Dylan began talking. "So after we leave, where do we go?" Dylan asked. "Benjamin wants all of us to head to Greensville. Cloris will take us in," she stated. "How do you know they won't find us?" he asked. "I heard rumors that there was another group there around Greensville. And if that doesn't work, Benjamin then said Cleveland might be a last resort for us now that the trappers are all dead," he told them. "And Sean will meet us there?" Dylan asked. "He should," Dr. Evans said. "And about why I did this? I worked here for 15 years. Northington was a monster. I worked for him for years. But Miles's mind has mentally deteriorated. He has several extreme bipolar disorders. I stopped trusting him for years. It was not going to be long before he completely lost his mind. After losing his family, he completely snapped. His explosive outbursts happen more frequently now, the same with his nightmares. No matter how much medication I give him, he continues to spiral, and the Ambien that helps him sleep makes him worse in the daytime. I decided after Benjamin was brought into the community, I was not going to be a part of this. With Hill's help, I was not going to let him and Trevor do whatever they wanted anymore. Trevor is a complete psychopath. There is no medication for him except a bullet. And Caden is not far off from becoming too far gone, he said. It's a broken world. We need to be good again to fix it, he said, as Jessica and the boy smiled. Suddenly, soldiers were moving through the tunnels. What the hell? Someone asked. It's them! Someone shouted. The Patriots saw them. Commander, we have people in the tunnels, they stated. Don't fire, she ordered. Run! Everyone run! Jessica shouted. She and the others tried to run through the tunnels as they looked. Come on, run! They shouted. Everyone began to run in the tunnels, trying to get away as best as they could. They fired their guns down the tunnel. Jessica and her boys covered their ears as they began to hear something else. Growling. They listened as Jessica panicked and turned to Dr. Evans. Fighters! She said. They all ran as fast as they could. Dylan was suddenly grabbed by a walker as it was close to biting him. But Jordan grabbed the walker and knifed it through the head, killing him. Dylan was relieved as Jessica took her son. Are you okay? She asked. I'm fine, he said, a little scared. Dylan thanked his brother as Dr. Evans told them to run. The Patriots were still chasing after them in the tunnel. Come on, we're almost there! He shouted. They all ran as fast as they could to the opening. Outside, we see an emergency hatch open in the middle of the field. They began to leave as suddenly a gun was aimed at Dr. Evans' head. What's up, Doc? The Patriot said. Jessica and the boys looked on in shock and defeat. It was too late. They were caught, as in the field, as 2,000 Patriots were all armed and waiting for them. Back on topside, Patrick and the others tried to run as they were being picked off. Miranda and Jose were the first to go, as they were shot, dropping dead. Patrick and the others fired back as they tried to head somewhere else. Kat opened fire, killing another Patriot. Adrian helped her by providing cover fire as they shot at the squads. Several Patriots moved to their position as Adrian fired his gun, hitting another one. They fired back, forcing him to duck. Oh shit! Kat, they're coming towards us! He said. What do we do? She asked, terrified. Just keep covering us! I'll handle it! He said, terrified. Adrian took his gun and reloaded. For William! He said. Adrian went into the hall and waited as he saw a black figure emerge. He fired, hitting and killing another Patriot as they retreated to find cover. Flank him! Someone shouted. Adrian took cover in the hallway as he was on his own. Back in Lincoln, we see Miles, Trevor, and Miles make it to the generator room when Myers whispers to Trevor. Trevor nods. Here we go, Miles said, taking the switch. He turns it on when Myers pulls out his pistol. Trevor flips the switch. In the hallway, the Patriots continued to fight off the zombies from outside, but luckily, they had a gate blocking them. Suddenly, they hear more groaning. Where's that coming from? One person asked. The lights turned on as it blinded them. They then looked at a massive horde of dead right behind them, as they were completely unaware. In the generator room, Miles finishes and lets go of the switch when a handgun was aimed at his head. Suddenly, a few gunshots in the hallway erupted as Miles turned his head. What? No! Trevor shouted, pushing Miles out of the way. Myers shot a few rounds at Caden, hitting him in the arm as Trevor aimed his gun, shooting Myers in the neck. Myers dropped down, clenching his neck. Myers choked on his own blood as he was trying to speak. Fucking traitor! He barely got out as Trevor aimed his gun, shooting him in the head, killing him. General! Sir, are you okay? He asked. What the fuck? Fucking Myers! Why would he... Fucking snake! He said angrily, holding his bleeding arm. I don't know, sir. I am so sorry. I had no idea he wanted to kill you, he lied. Miles smiled. Thank you for saving me, Lieutenant. When we get back, I'll remember this, he stated. Trevor smiled. That's not important. First, we need to get out of here and get you help, he lied again. He took his radio. "Attention, this is Lieutenant Dallas. The general is hurt. I am calling for a full withdrawal of all teams," he stated. Back with Benjamin, he listened on the radio when he heard screaming. Ben whispered in his ear, "Forget about them. Let's get out of here," he said. We then see Benjamin taking as many discarded guns as possible and ammo he could find. "I can't," he said. Back in the fight, we see Patrick, Obadiah, Angela, her brothers, and the others firing. They continued retreating in the town as they were separated. The Patriots opened fire on each and every one of them, as Josh was hit from the back and dropped down. Angela and Ethan tried to go back for him, but bullets flied, nearly hitting them. "No, Josh!" he screamed, but couldn't do anything. Manny was then hit in the leg. "Ah, fuck!" He dropped down, and Obadiah went back, quickly picking him up. He carried Manny on his back. As they pushed through, the dead were coming. Patrick and a few others tried to make it out. "Adrian! Son!" he shouted on the radio when he was shot in the stomach. He dropped down to his knees. Patrick was gasping for air as his gut was bleeding. He looked, seeing everyone else fall dead as they were gunned down. He had failed. Suddenly, he saw Liza and the other Patriots. Patrick tried to aim his gun, but she aimed her gun, shooting him in the arm. He dropped backwards, lying on the cold ground, as he continued to bleed. She got on her radio. "Whoever's left hearing this, say goodbye to Mr. Wright." Adrian heard it on his radio as she aimed her gun. "Was it worth it, getting them all killed?" she asked him. "Go ahead. Do it, bitch," he said. Liza aimed her gun, shooting Patrick and killing him. As the shot rang out, we see Kat's horrified expression as Adrian plants himself to the ground, crying his eyes out. While carrying Manny, Obadiah looked back in defeat and shock. It was all over. The last of the rebels were taken out as Liza stood over Patrick's dead. They lost. "Should we send soldiers after them, Commander?" the soldier asked. "No. They're done for. Fighters will be everywhere soon. Let's head back inside. Take the body," she said. They listened as the Patriots carried Patrick's body inside. Meanwhile, Kat and Adrian were running from the area. The dead were coming after them as they cried on in horror. Adrian collapsed as Kat comforted him. In another part, Josh was being taken away by soldiers dragging him inside the compound. Angela and Ethan collapsed in heartbreak. Back in the stadium, we saw the Patriots inside the room as they were all waiting and recovering. They continued to hear gunfire and screaming. They all sit there and worry. The girl Patriot injured from earlier speaks up. "Hunter and them have been gone a long time," she said. "Well, maybe he's dead," he said. Benjamin made it to the hallway as the dead were still in the fields and hallways. Elsewhere, we see Trevor finish patching Caden up from his wounded arm. As they move to the hall, they see the dead in the hallway. "Fuck!" Trevor said as they moved. "Why the fuck are those things inside?" Caden asked. "I have no fucking clue. Hunter must have fucked up," Trevor stated. Miles got on his radio. "Attention all teams, a horde is inside the stadium. I repeat, a horde is inside the stadium," he told them. "We should just get the fuck out of here," Trevor stated. "I will make it past them bleeding. And are you crazy? I am not leaving behind that helicopter for them. This is the closest we've ever gotten to taking one of them for ourselves, and I am not about to let this chance slip by," he stated. Trevor looks on annoyed, but held back from arguing. There was no point. As Benjamin continued to move through the calling facility, trying to stay alive, he continued to hear the dead as he moved, closing a set of double doors, blocking a group of fighters and locking them inside, at least for now. He then thought back to Robert and the other men let down from the displacement center. He spat in his hand and tried to wipe some of the blood off of his face as he heard something. He moved to the side as a group of CRM soldiers were making their way down the hall. You two go that way, he could barely hear from the group. As the soldiers came closer, Benjamin held his breath as they passed him, completely missing him from the column as he looked and started following them. The soldiers entered a narrow hall as they made it to a special security door. Authorized personnel only. It had in huge bold letters. Come on, we have to hurry, they stated. The soldiers entered the room as it was stocked full of weapons, assault rifles, pistols, grenades, plastic explosives, detonators, flashlights, disruption charges, flares, and much more. They began to pack a trolley full of equipment as they stocked it full of explosives and ammo clips. We have 10 minutes to clear a path to the helipad, they stated. They exited the room as they quickly left the armory. Not far away, we see the CRM soldiers breaking into a secluded area of wounded as they open fire with the Patriots. Benjamin left behind. They all tried to take cover. The girl tried to get her radio, but dropped it. The CRM soldiers were overwhelming them, nearly killing them all. Suddenly, a flash grenade was dropped on their feet as it exploded. The CRM soldiers were blinded as they screamed in pain. The Patriots took cover as Benjamin emerged from the door open, wielding dual pistols. He fired and shot a CRM soldier in the leg before kicking him in the face as he fired both guns, killing another one by the locker. Benjamin then turned as the soldier was aiming his rifle. Benjamin moved out of the way, dropping backwards to the floor as he fired 4 shots, killing the soldier. Benjamin got up as the Patriot left cover and were helping him return fire. A soldier was going for his rifle, but Benjamin fired his gun, hitting him in the hand as the man screamed, clenching his hand. Watch out! Chloe shouted as Benjamin barely missed a knife as a soldier cut and grazed his uniform. Benjamin dropped his gun as he slammed him against the lockers on his back. The lockers began to shake. Benjamin moved back quickly. The soldier grabbed Benjamin's gun as the locker came crashing down. It hit him in the head as Benjamin then took his gun back and looked at the few remaining Patriots. Hey, thanks for the heads up, he said. Suddenly, we see the remaining Patriots putting charges on the football field, as in the hallway, they were using flares and luring them in the hallway. As 2 Patriots were luring them down the hall, another group began using the trolley of ammo and guns down another herd in the hallway. I'm out, one said. Close them, she shouted. They closed the hallway doors as they moved. You see Benjamin using one of the drones, directing a group of walkers. It was flying outside, flashing, as the herd walked towards it. The drone kept buzzing as the zombies suddenly began to fall out of the window. The biters fell dozens of feet into their death as Benjamin put the drone on autopilot. The zombies kept falling out of the stadium to their death. Benjamin then picked up and pressed the radio. Remember, we keep rotating around the stadium until we have the full remaining herd into the field, he shouted. In another part of the stadium, Caden got on his radio. Hunter? He asked. Is that you? He asked. Benjamin pressed a button. Yeah, it's me. Bet you're pretty fucking surprised, he told me. Especially you, Trevor, he said threateningly. Trevor looked on, acting like he didn't know anything. Benjamin and the others were setting up the charges in the field, as the dead were right on them. Here they come! He shouted. The zombies entered the football field as Benjamin covered his ears. He pressed the button as the charges went off. The zombies were blown away by the hundreds as they sprayed everywhere. The remaining ones were picked off the Patriots with rifles as you see them using hand-to-hand weapons, killing as many as they could. Within the half hour, all the biters were seemingly dead as the other Patriots, including Benjamin, stood in triumph. Benjamin looked around. Chloe and the 3 remaining Patriots were bringing the injured CRM soldiers into the field, as Benjamin looked on. Well done, Black Wolf, he heard, as Benjamin turned around to see Caden, Trevor, and 3 more Patriots coming from the side. I am truly impressed, he told him. Benjamin stared him down as he looked at Trevor before smiling. I didn't fucking do this for you, he told him angrily. Caden smiled. Doesn't matter to me, he said. Today was a victory, he told him. Liza looked as Josh and Dr. Evans were in their cells. She talked to him. I really trusted you, she said. He didn't say anything. Don't you have anything to say for yourself? She asked. Yes, he said. If I die, at least I went out trying to do the right thing, rather than being someone's slave, he said. Liza was mad when her radio went off. They're here, someone said. We see General Miles and the others making it back to Helios. We see Caden driving as he has a smile on his face. We see a helicopter being transported on a large flatbed they had. He radios ahead. Commander Brooks, it's General Miles. Our ETA is 10 minutes. We'll approach from the west gate, he told her. General, relieved to hear you're back. I understand, she said. Trevor continued to drive the wheel for him. And prep the infirmary. We have some wounded to treat, myself included. But we can celebrate once we get inside, because I have something amazing to show you all, he said. Liza listened indifferently. A long silence. Commander, are you there? He asked. Yes. I'm sorry, sir. It's just that... She stopped in the hallway. Caden was getting curious. What is it? He asked. Something happened while you were gone, she revealed. In Helios, we see everyone getting out of the cars, the wounded being taken away, Benjamin included. I said I'm fine, he shouted back. He looked, seeing Liza and Caden talking. He looked as he was trying to get eyes on Trevor. He couldn't see him anywhere. Suddenly, Benjamin looked, seeing Hill. Hill waved to him as Benjamin followed him, making sure no one would see the two of them. Patrick attacked us, he told him. Benjamin was shocked. Came with a skeleton crew of fighters, ambushed us on the road, and took our cars. Obadiah let me go, he told him. Who else was with them? He asked, concerned. I don't know, he said. Fuck! This wasn't supposed to happen. They were supposed to wait, Benjamin told him. Yeah, no shit. Now eyes are going to be on you even more now, he said. I'm sorry, Ben, but your people fucked up. What happened to them? Benjamin asked. Liza had them killed, he said. All of them? He asked. No, I heard she took a few in custody. I didn't see it, but I heard most of them were wiped out, he said. Benjamin was alarmed. Was Rachel? He said, concerned. No, Rachel wasn't with them. She's gone. Her and Tyler left the city, he said. Where? Where did they go? Benjamin asked, very concerned. Hill opened his mouth, but stopped, seeing Trevor watching him. Hill was alarmed. Benjamin mildly so. Where did who go? Trevor asked, interested. Benjamin growled, as Trevor devilishly smirked. Not even 5 minutes in, and already plotting something, he said. Fuck off, Trevor. Today is not the day to pull this shit, Benjamin angrily warned him. Miles may like keeping you around, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. All it'll take is one fucking accident, and you're gone. I was foolish to think your squad couldn't pull it off. From now on, I'm going to take care of your shit myself, and you'll never see it coming, Trevor warned. Hill, what were you two talking about? He asked. Benjamin wanted to know where the escaped rebels went, he told him. I see. Boring! They're probably biter chow by now. Hill, you don't mind if I borrow Hunter for a little bit? The general and commander want to see him, he said. No, I suppose I don't, Hill told him. By the way, I heard what happened. Shame you lost your team to those fucking rebels, he told him. But at least you made it out alive, he said. Thank you, Lieutenant Dallas, he said back. Benjamin looked and begrudgingly followed Trevor as he had his gun holstered. Both of them had their guns on their hips and held tightly onto them. In a meeting place, we saw Miles furious and slammed the TV. He breathed heavily. So is Evans dead? He asked. No. I wanted to wait for you, she said. I have to fucking do everything! He shouted. I get shot, nearly lose 100 men, go out all the way to fucking Nebraska, and come back to this fucking mess! He said. Liza didn't say anything. Alice let that boy escape. We can't let Hunter find out about this, he told her. He sat back down. Damn it. Why does everything go right back to being so fucked just when things start to be going our way? He asked. How many did you capture? He asked. One. Just one. His name is Joshua Dawson, she said. Some of ours didn't make it. 4 nurses and doctors surrendered along with my family, she said. Caden was beyond angered. I'm going to Huntington, he stated. Did you send someone to Huntington? He asked. No, she said. Why the fuck not? Rachel Hunter should... You should have brought her here by now. All of this happened yesterday. What the fuck have you been doing? He shouted. Liza was shocked at his outburst. Caden, what the hell is wrong with you? She asked. What's wrong with me? Oh, how about how everyone around me is either a fucking moron or trying to murder and backstab me? You are supposed to be the one I can rely on, to trust on. And not only did Jessica and them try to fucking escape again, Huntington launched a fucking pathetic attack on us while we were gone! He shouted. I can't fucking babysit you every single fucking day, Liza! I need you here keeping the Patriots from fucking collapsing! He said. Liza stood up. How fucking dare you, Caden? You think I knew what my sister was planning? If anyone is to blame for this, it's you! You took over 100 of our men to Lincoln and came back with 10 in a stupid helicopter. You subjugated and acted like a totalitarian for months, and you're surprised it fucked up. You expect everyone to fall in line and not make any mistake, while you waste countless amounts of our resources and manpower into finding the CRM. You threaten a pregnant woman who probably didn't even have anything to do with this attack, for all we know. You fucking murdered Chris! And you're surprised that Jessica tried to leave again? I don't blame her, honestly, because you are losing it. You keep making our problems even worse, and now you blame me? The person who has been on your side this entire time because of the terrible choices you made. Don't you ever talk to me like that, ever again, she said, furious. Caden was mad. Fine, he said, walking away. Where are you going? She asked. Like you fucking care, he said, leaving her, as Liza started to cry. We see CRM soldiers being locked up in their cells. Many hours later, we see Huntington as the gates are opened for Miles. He comes out of the truck and looks around. Where is Rachel Hunter? He asked. We see the Patriots breaking down the family door as they rush inside. They look around, seeing nothing. No one was there. Get the fucking dogs, he said. We see the Patriots looking everywhere, having dogs sniff around the city for hours. Find them. Fucking find the hunters! Caden said uncontrollably as he stood inside and sat down, unsure of what to do next. A soldier came to him. Well, he said. We can't find them, sir, the soldier said. Miles flipped over a table furiously and smashed some furniture in a fit of rage. He was breathing heavily. The soldier was freaked out when another one came from the door. Sir, we found something, he said. Miles looked at him. Outside, they go to Merle's doghouse and see more Patriots and dogs there. They pulled out a bag from the house and proceeded to open it. Let me see those, he said, as Caden looked, seeing a picture of Benjamin and Rachel on their wedding day last year. He continued to look through the rest of them. The whore isn't his sister. She's his wife, he said. Sir, we looked everywhere. Dr. Roberts, the girl and boy are missing, he said. No, Caden said. The dog, too. They're not here anymore, Caden said. But that's okay. I'll find them. All of them, Caden said sinisterly. In Helios, Benjamin was locked up, handcuffed in a room. Benjamin's arms and legs were handcuffed to the table and chair. The doors open as Trevor comes inside. He smiles. Comfy, Black Wolf? He asked. Trevor sat down in front of him. Brought you something, he said, laying down an iPad. Benjamin looked at it as Trevor pressed play. Benjamin looked at the screen. Smile for the camera, Doc, Trevor said in the video. Benjamin looked, seeing that Dr. Evans and all the other people who tried to escape were beaten, bloody, and scared. Benjamin looked as many of them were crying. Please, Trevor. Please don't do this, he begged. Benjamin got angry at Trevor. You son of a bitch! He shouted, going for him. The chains restrained him. Shh! Keep watching, he said. Benjamin heard gunshots in the video as Dr. Evans was on the floor. The zombies were right on him as he was being devoured. Here comes the best part! Watch how you got them killed! Trevor said devastatingly. Benjamin looked on as all the victims were torn apart and screaming. Their screams echoed in his head as he watched the whole video. Wow, you didn't look away, he said. He then dropped a photo on the table. It was of Rachel. Benjamin looked at it. He looked at it, this time terrified. Oh yeah, you know the truth. All these months you lied to us. Had us think she was your sister, he said. But now we know all about your pregnant little whore, he said. Benjamin looked at him. What? He said. Don't act like you didn't fucking know. It won't work this time, he said. Benjamin was shocked at what he just said. But I'll do you a favor. Since we're such good friends, I know you want to see her and your baby as soon as possible. So when I find her, for you, I'll cut the baby out of her and let you hold it, he said, getting up. Benjamin jumped forward, not saying anything. Sleep well, Black. Trevor said, leaving the room. Benjamin stood there, looking at the picture of Rachel. Tears began to fill his eyes. Benjamin placed a photo to his forehead, crying uncontrollably into it. Benjamin lost it as he broke down emotionally in the room, all alone, completely heartbroken.